Well, hello there. I just finished filming the intro and outro to this video. However, something went wrong and my audio was not recorded, so I'm gonna do this again. Today we're gonna go to my kitchen and we're gonna make some cookies for Easter. And I have 3 shapes. The first is this bunny, like this bunny head with the 2 little ears. And then a full-size bunny. And I always use these every year. But for this year I have a humongous one. Gigantic, look at that. Now, one problem that I'm gonna have with this one is it's gonna break over here. Like, completely, it will always break, and it's way too big, so I'm just gonna make like 5. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to my kitchen and I'm preparing the dough first, and I'm gonna do a voiceover for everything I do in the kitchen because it would just be way too loud with like the mixer and thing. And then I'm gonna let the dough cool down, and then we make just one of each or something, I don't remember, and I'm just gonna show you what I do. And afterwards we're gonna come back here and take a look at all the cookies that we've made. So yeah, I hope you'll enjoy this video, and we see each other back at the end. Okay, now we're in my kitchen. And I've already prepared everything, so I measured the sugar and the flour and everything so that we can just start immediately. This is a voiceover, obviously. And first we're gonna start with 180 grams of sugar, just normal plain sugar. And we're just gonna put that in the mixing bowl. We're gonna do it with some lemon zest and mix it up so that the sugar can get out the oils from the lemon zest better. And yes, I'm just standard lemon. I don't know, if you can get an organic one, then use an organic one. And yeah, I take half a lemon in order to make it a bit more lemony. I like that a lot. Some people just use a tiny little bit, but it's mostly for the taste and the oils and everything. And if you mix it up with the sugar, it's best if you do it by hand. If you just rub the zest and the sugar between your fingers, that's the best way to do that. But I don't. I just always use the mixer, the mixer. And yeah, right, now I'm taking it over, and I have like the mixer thing that I use in the beginning is like a 3-fork thingy to blend everything nice together, and later to make the dough I'm just gonna take a 1-fork thingy. I'm not sure what it's called in English. And yeah, they just can see I'm gonna put that up there and then go full speed. Now, this machine is quite old, so it takes a while and it's not as fast as it used to be. And it also wobbles a lot, and that's why I keep my hand on top of it. Not too much, it's supposed to wobble a little, but it wobbles a lot. Like, it jumps up and down and all around, and it's okay if you only have a little in there, but the more stuff you get, the worse it gets. And oh, you can see the little hairs on my arm. That is weird. Yeah, it was a very sunny day yesterday, today as well. Beautiful day. So I am working with natural light from the window in front of me, which is sometimes a bit awkward because I cannot see as well as the camera does, because I have the sun in my eyes, which is just wonderful. And now we're gonna take 250 grams of butter, which is just a whole block of butter, and I'm just gonna like make cut it in a few pieces and put it in there and then whisk it up all together. Now you can see me struggling to open the butter without getting it all over my hands, because it is soft butter, it is room temperature butter. And I will fail, I will have butter all over my hands, which is just wonderful. It's what everyone wants. But that's normal, it's very soft. Yeah. Now I'm finally cutting it. And yeah, if you can hear some background noise, it's because my PC is running and it's quite loud. I hope that I can cut it out somehow, but if that's the case, then I'm sorry. Yeah, just scraping it off from the foil, putting the rest in there. Now these always have a lot of butter, but it is needed, otherwise it would just be too hard and you couldn't properly like make a dough out of it. Now this dough is gonna be quite soft, and in the beginning I didn't cool it long enough. Later I put it for a short time in the freezer and then it was easier to handle. You always have to make sure that you find the right temperature, not too cold but not too hot either. It's a bit of a mess. I don't know what it's called in English, this type of dough. Maybe it's just plain old cookie dough or sugar cookie, I've heard. I don't know if that's the case. It's basically, it's what pie crust is made of, at least in Germany, but a little bit different, like a little bit more sugary and more buttery, but essentially it's a Milbeteig, and that's just what this dough is called. It's very simple, it's a pie crust dough essentially, but it's incredibly tasty, so there's that. Now you can just see me mix it. I could have cut it out, but I just like the way the mixer is spinning around. I don't know, it's kind of hypnotic. I love it. And you just whisk the butter up until it's fluffy. And then I'm gonna put 2 eggs in there, 2 medium eggs. The recipe calls for medium eggs, and they are indeed medium, because we currently cannot find any large eggs, sadly, in the grocery store that I'm always going to. And yeah, so they are medium eggs. If you have large eggs, then maybe just use one, I don't know. I am no expert. Yeah. And now we're gonna whisk that up as well. I'm gonna put the shield on top of it again to make sure that I can whisk it up. Oh god, I can't talk anymore. Yeah, you just want to make it a bit fluffy, you know. And while we're doing that, I think that's while that is whisking. Yeah. We're gonna take the 500 grams of flour in the background and put just a little bit of baking powder in there. Now, baking powder is not baking soda. There is a difference. I don't know what the difference is. Here you can see me scraping it down to get all the butter from the outside and the middle, so that it's nice and smooth later. I really like that silicone scraper. It comes really in handy, but sometimes you also need a plastic, like, I don't know, it's not a knife, but it's to break up the dough and stuff. Sometimes you also need that, but the silicone one is really good to get stuff from the sides. Now we're taking the 500 grams of all-purpose flour. And I wrote down half a teaspoon of baking powder. Technically you don't need any, but I do like it because it gets a little bit bigger, but not too much, like only just a incy wincy tiny little bit. And I do like that, so yeah. I'm gonna put that in there and mix it up. Just like that. nice mix. And then we're gonna take back our, I know you're not supposed to pick it up while it's running, but I didn't feel like doing, like, you know, shutting it off. And now we're just waiting for a bit until it gets a bit more fluffy. Yeah, now there are quite a few cuts in this video, so, but you can see it's very nice and fluffy. The whole butter and egg mixture just came together nicely. Yeah. Now, funnily enough, my grandma has had that style of like mixing thingy for 20 years, over 20 years, I'm not sure. And hers is still running perfectly, but ours, like this is my mother's, it's only like maybe 6 years old at most, and it's already giving up. Sometimes it cannot go as fast as you want it to, and that sucks, of course, because when you have like something that you need to whisk like really hard, then it's very annoying. Oh, now exactly, here is that one forked mix thingy that I've told you. Okay, yeah, right, just like that. And now we're just gonna scoop in the flour with baking powder, and just one at a time until it's a dough. It's a very sticky dough though, so like, and it's not supposed to be not sticky, like you put it in the freezer in order for it to become non-sticky. So yeah. I really don't know what the difference is between baking soda and baking powder, like from a baking point of view. I just know that baking soda is, I think, just the pure baking soda, and baking powder is something else mixed in there as well instead of just baking soda. But I'm not sure what kind of difference it makes when you like use it. So I don't know. But there is a difference apparently. And now the dough is finished, and you can see while it does have some slight dough texture, it isn't completely a dough. It's very sticky still because the butter is warm. And that's what the cooling process is for. Like most people say you're supposed to have it for 1 hour in there, but I feel like 1 hour is not enough. And you need to have it a little longer in there. You can also just stick it in the freezer for a couple of minutes, like 10 minutes or something, and then it should be fine as well. You just need to, well, figure it out. Now you can see it sticks to the sides and it's a bit crumbly, so I'm just gonna manually net it. What's it called? Net it? I don't know, you know, mix it up together manually a bit with my hands. And now I'm taking the plastic scoop thingy, because the plastic scoop thingy is better for dough, because the silicone one is not hard enough to withstand the viscosity of the dough. I don't know. Oh, and if you're worried about my nail polish while baking, don't be. It's UV nail polish. It's not coming off at all. Like, I don't know, I've never managed to get it off there. So now here I'm just doing it a little bit more. The important thing is that this is really like very well mixed through, and you can just play with the dough for a while, because if it's not well mixed, then you're gonna have problems with cracking later on. Also, if it's too cold, it's gonna crack as well, and as you can see, if it's too warm, then it's gonna just glue itself down to the floor at every possible thing. Anyway, then I'm gonna take some plastic foil and wrap it in there, and then I'm gonna squish it down to make it nice and flat so that it cools faster. And then it's just 1 hour in the fridge. Oh, well, longer actually, and it wasn't long enough. So I don't know, I think it was like 1.5 hours in there, and later I put it for a few minutes in the freezer. And yeah. So I'm pressing it down a bit. And now it's too flat for one, so I have to put another over it, and then it just goes into the fridge and later in the freezer for a little bit, but only a little bit. Yep, and we are finished with the first round. Woo! Okay, now I've taken it out, and this is my I don't know what it's called actually, just to flatten the dough out, and it has a little ridge at the end, which makes it 3 millimeter thick, like the dough. When you press it down, it doesn't go under 3 millimeter, which is quite nice, so it's all more or less the same height and the same thickness. And this dough is not quite cool enough yet, but it's okay. I'm taking some flour and putting it all over the working space so that it won't stick too much. It barely stuck down at all. It was a very nice dough. Like, you will see me struggle now, but later when I didn't film, of course when I didn't film, there wasn't any issue with sticking of the dough to the surface. And this is too much though, so I'm gonna break it in half. I'm not gonna take the full dough as I originally wanted to. And yeah. Work it. And yeah, what I didn't realize until now is I was wearing a pink shirt, like a neon pink shirt, which is why everything kind of looks neon pink, because the sun is coming directly from above, as you can see with those beautiful sun rays. And they hit my neon pink shirt and just make everything neon pink, and so it's always changing. Oh, now, okay. Now I've rolled it out, and we're gonna take the big one and the two smaller ones. And just cut it out. Like, is it cutting? Is it stamping? What is it? I'm not sure. Well, it is a cookie cutter. And a cookie cutter means you're cutting the cookie. But you're also kind of stamping it, aren't you? I don't know, but you're stamping through, so it doesn't really make any sense. Yeah, well, I'm trying to lift it up with my finger and realize I can't, so I'm gonna take my little lifting thingy, I don't know what it's called, just to get it up. I think it's originally for paint, but like my dad gave it to me one day, like a fresh one, obviously, a new one, for me to pick up like these cookies, and it works wonders. But I think it's like a spatula, right? It's called a spatula, and it's for mixing paints originally, I think. Pretty sure. But there's probably some that are especially like made for the kitchen, but this one is food safe as well, so like, who cares? It was never used for paint. And I'm just pressing it down. These are ginormous. They are huge. It's incredible. I only made like 5 of them because of it, because it was so big, and they all broke. They all broke at the neck, actually. I think only one survived, but I'm not entirely certain. And I'm gonna take the small ones and just cut out some of those. I don't have any other shapes. I don't have eggs or anything like that. I just have these. And it's a pretty traditional thing as well. Like, at least where I'm from in Germany, I don't know about other places, but we always have these, like, you can buy them at the bakery during Easter. They have like this very specific mold of, most of the time, of a jumping rabbit, and they're also very big, normally. So yeah, this is kind of a typical Easter thing, at least where I'm from. You can never speak for a whole country. And now I've finished and put them all on the tray, and we're gonna swish over there any second. Oh no, oh right, I forgot we need 2 egg yolks to give those rabbits a bit of shine, you know, and to make the decorations stick on them. And these egg yolks are beautiful. I don't know what these chickens ate, but oh my god, they are so pretty. You will see later when the cookies are finished, they shine beautifully. And also, like, look at that color. Perfect egg color, perfect. They had such a nice consistency. I was amazed. It was incredible. Right. Now we do need some raisins. Now, you don't have to use raisins. I just used them for the eyes. And also some decorating sugar, like those little grains of sugar, you know. I didn't have a lot of them anymore, so I didn't use much. But I do like raisins. But if you don't, you obviously don't have to use them. You can use, I don't know, something else for the eyes. I guess some of those chocolate chips or something. And now we're just gonna take a brush, a baking brush, I don't know, and I just put the egg yolk all over it. And I did put some margarine, I don't know, I put some fat on the trays, on the baking trays, so that they won't stick to it. And I made a lot more. I think I've made 4 or 5 in total, like trays full of stuff. So there's really a lot. You can also just make half of the recipe, and it would be fine as well. I'm gonna put at the very end, the recipe, the whole recipe before the credit. Well, no, credit. Oh, I'm confused. Before the video is finished, but I'm gonna put it at the end so that you can bake it as well if you want to. And now I'm just gonna take the raisins and push them inside the head. And there you go. It's a finished rabbit. And you can't really see the egg yolk right now through the camera, but when I was standing in front of it, it was incredibly orange. It looked amazing. Now I did wear a t-shirt and an apron just to not get full of flour. But I didn't make a mess at all. I make them every year. I have for like the past 4 years or something. I'm the person kind of responsible for baking in my house. My mother doesn't really enjoy it, but I do. So I'm the one that makes everything. I don't have to, obviously, but I like it too much not to do it. So yeah. Just some sugar on the bellies. And I do feel like I'm gonna say something later to the big ones, but they remind me of something. Maybe you can figure it out what they remind me of. Like if you make a little adjustments, of course, but they don't really look like rabbits now, do they? And now the small ones. There you can see it better. It's very orange. Now, I'm not sure how many people do this egg yolk thing. I mean, normally you do it on like yeast stuff, I know that, but not on like just normal cookies. but we do that here a lot. So yeah. It doesn't have a taste, but it looks fabulous. So yeah, you're gonna put them in the oven at 175 degrees or 180 for like 10 to 12 minutes. You just have to see how thick your cookies are, and top and bottom heat if your oven has that. I don't know what to call it, if that is really what it's called in English, but Google couldn't tell me anything else, so yeah. We have an electric oven, not a gas one. I mean, you can see it, like the cooking field is obviously electric as well, and down there is the oven. But yeah, we're finished. It goes into the oven, and I'll see you in a few seconds to show you what they look like in the end. Alright, and welcome back. So I've got an array of the cookies that we've made together. I made quite a lot this time, and they turned out pretty good, non-burned or anything. And we've got the heads with like the little ears and the two eyes, and look at that shine. This is glossy. So we've got those. And we got those little sitting bunnies, and they also shine. Wow. With eyes and some granulated sugar. Well, I just broke that off. Fabulous. And some without, because I didn't have enough sugar. No. As I said, most of the big ones have broken a little, sadly. This one looks like it broke, but it actually didn't. Like, you can see a rip here in the middle, but it's not through. It's just at the top. But what I did notice was, just as I looked at this one right here, like a few minutes ago, I noticed that they kind of look like that one Pokemon that has like a costume on, basically, to make himself look more appealing, like look more like Pikachu. Because it looks like it has like just saggy ears, and the cloth is like crunching up down here, like there's too much hanging down, and just the two eyes are peeking out from the cloth. So yeah, I think it looks quite funny. And it's really big. Like my hand, I don't have small hands. I guess I have normal sized hands. But definitely not small hands. And they're gigantic. By the way, I am gonna eat them myself, so I can tap on them if I want to. And my hands are obviously clean. But still, I feel like they make very nice sounds. Anyway, so this big fella is very cute, and I guess you could make Pokemon themed cookies with it if you modify it a little. Now, another idea that I had while making this was to leave some of them blank. So I got 3 heads and 3 sitting bunnies that I left blank, because I just saw while I was making them that I still have some of that icing, like colored icing, in these little tubes. And I thought it would be fun to try and decorate them with it. Now, I've never actually successfully tried doing that. It usually is just one big mess, but I thought it could be fun. So I left 3 of them, like 6 in total, completely blank. And tomorrow I'm I'm gonna color them with you and see what we can do. Maybe I'm gonna make a white base as well with like some lemon juice and powdered sugar, so that maybe tastes better, because like the normal icing that you buy is made with water and I don't even know what else. Well, probably just water and powdered sugar and some coloring, but I don't know. And it just tastes like nothing, so like, yeah. But that is for tomorrow. And I hope that you liked this kind of video. And maybe in the future I'm gonna make something like that again, if someone wants it. Yeah, until then, I hope you have a nice evening, or a good night's sleep, or a relatively stressless day, hopefully. And I hope to see you in the next video when we color these little bunnies. Bye!